Sure, I wine them and dine them, but I don't let them tell me what to do.
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are. And that's why we like you. On this week's episode, we are drinking a Barrell Craft Spirits bottle of Armida. And that's going to be Nita. So join along, because nothing's sweeter. Before we get to that, though, hit us up on Instagram. That's where we like to talk. We've had a lot of interactions lately, and I really enjoy it. It's just nice to see you. It's nice to know you care. You reached out and touched us. And if you want to support the podcast monetarily, hit us up on patreon.com/chillfiltered. That's it. Nothing else to say business-wise. Cole, how you doing, bud? Yeah, right there. You got a dirty glass?
Crap is in my glass. I hope that's barrel particulates, but that's weird.
Hopefully it's the right kind of bunghole particulates.
What's that?
Hopefully it's
maybe it's the bunghole particulates. That was weird. There were like little chunks in there, and then they became more liquid. It was weird. Those who are on YouTube might have seen them.
Cole's,
but anyway,
like
my disgusted look. I'm drinking. My entry buzz today is Lefroy Glore. Shout out to Miles Ferguson. And yeah, that's what I'm drinking. I've been kind of stressed out, man.
Yeah.
Work. I feel like I haven't been doing a lot right at work lately. A lot of like mistakes and stuff, and that like beats me up.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. And yeah, so that's kind of been a little bit stressful, but it's not like I'm not anxious about it. You know, there was that time a few weeks ago where I was just anxious about a lot of things. I'm not really anxious about it. I'm just a little bit stressed about it. And I think there's a big difference where I'm like, versus like, man, I really wish I did better, you know.
There's a big difference between man. It's a whole spectrum.
Yeah. So otherwise, been good. I snagged a bottle of Blanton's today. And actually, I had a goal with these Blanton's that I've been buying lately. Okay. I wanted to get 6 because I actually have like a box, like a case for them. And I want to set that case of 6 aside and just save it for years. Maybe even my goal is to like save it and give it to Beck one day and just like because like Blanton's, they have the dump date and they're probably more valuable in 40 years or something like that, or maybe 20 something years with the dump date on them from 20 plus years ago. And so my thought is I'll give them to Beck and she can decide whether she wants to drink them or to like give them to her kids or whatever. But I think they'll be very valuable in 20 years from now. I did the same thing, not for the same reason, but I did the same thing with a case of Eagle Rare. I just was like, hey, I got 6 bottles and I have a box, like an Eagle Rare box, like a case. And I was like, how don't I set those aside for something special? Not as much for like, the dump date, even though they do have laser codes on them showing what year they're from. But maybe that'll just be for like one day I'll have a bunch of Eagle Rares. Maybe one day I'll never be able to find Eagle Rare and I'll be like, now I got some.
The other cool thing is like to break out the case at like, the wedding reception or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, like break out a whole case. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, but yeah, I got that today. There were 2 drops in Virginia today. One just happened like 10, 15 minutes ago. And luckily, none of them were close to me. So it didn't really matter. None of the stalkers that got the chosen drop were anywhere near me. So if it was one of the ones close to me, I'd be like, hey, I'll get back to you in like 30 minutes. And I've done that before. But yeah, that's life. Beck, my daughter. Yes, my daughter. She is just she's kind of dealing with a little bit of a stage now, and that's okay. We're trying to train her out of it in a way. She's kind of whiny, not like super whiny, but like she tries to get her way by whining, and we're like, nah, we're not going to deal with that. And so we try to like not reinforce it. We try not to give her exactly what she wants when she is whining. We try to be like, hey, what do you need?
Can you ask nicely?
Yeah, can you show me what you need? And so sometimes she'll point, sometimes she'll do a little bit of sign language. Like we'll be like, when she's at the dinner table, she'll often want to like leave and just go and play. But we'll be like, hey, at least are you all done? And we have like the shake the hands all done sign language. And if she says all done, then we'll be like, okay, you could go. But it's not because you whined that you're able to leave the table. It's because you signed to us. Yeah. It's because what?
Not because you whined, because you dined.
Because you dined. Sure, I wine them and dine them, but I don't let them tell me what to do. Shout out to Arrested Development. And I'm sure one of our listeners caught that reference. And if you did, hit us up on Instagram and be like, I caught it.
I did not catch it. I just enjoyed the way you said it. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, but otherwise, Smashing Pumpkins came out with a new album this week. I don't love it. But I haven't given it 2 listens. I realized recently that I can't really give it a full review until I've listened to it twice.
The other thing too is like, and then if you see it live, that's a whole nother level.
True.
There's albums that I've fallen in love with because I heard it live. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it reminds me of the show.
Speaking of live, what was that band?
Throwing Copper?
No,
I can feel it coming back.
Oh, not that live band.
No,
that live band that you sent me today.
Oh my gosh, my new obsession, Idols. They're out of the UK.
Nice.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they seem super UK punk.
Dude, oh man. So that song itself is just, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. So it's Idols and it's Danny Nedelko.
And that's IDLES, Idols.
Yes. And I sent it to Cole. I'm like, I just need, like, someone go look it up. And I am like obsessing over like it's like a live show in Glastonbury.
I mean, people were getting into it, let alone the band was getting into it, but people were digging it.
And I am obsessed on it. And I've sent it to so many people, and I thought there's a chance maybe Cole will like it. Cole says, no,
not my jam.
But that's a very Robby thing. And I said, okay. And my buddy Jake Bonnick, who he and I grew up and we both love similar music.
I bet Bryce would dig it.
Bryce, please listen. Anybody, everybody, listen and message me and say, "Oh my gosh, I really like." But they have a lot. I think you might like some of their other stuff. They're very, it's an interesting band. They got their own sound.
I think I realized that my punk foray is more so on the emo side and the pop punk side.
I like these guys, but they're very like socially conscious, like.
Nice.
Sticking up for people kind of a band. And one of their t-shirts is hard rock for softies. And I kind of like that. Yeah, because they have very like this song comes across and it's like it's very like at least do hate. But it's like almost like a love song for his friends.
I was really cool. Hanging out with some friends a few years back. And one of my friends, Trent, shout out to Trent Prado, who sometimes listens.
Oh.
He was hanging out with this girl, and this was before Trent was married, and it was basically like a double date that he was set up. It was a blind date for him. We basically set him up with someone, and I didn't really know this girl, but someone, I forget who knew this girl, but it was a blind date. And this girl, he brought up music that he's into, and I kind of heard it across the table, and he was talking about like screamo. And the girl was like, I can't understand why they're so mad. And that is a very common misconception about certain types of rock, is that maybe they're not mad. Maybe they're just singing and using their voice as a great instrument and showing it in a different way. But like often, I mean, I'm sure there are some bands that are screaming because they're mad, but like there's a lot that don't. And that it's more like just a way to sing and a way to kind of not prove a point, but maybe like show it in a different way. So, and I felt like he actually educated her in a very good way, Trent. So shout out to Trent.
Good job, Trent. You want to? I like juxtaposition. So like, I like kind of that band I was talking about, but also like I love Andrew WK. Like the way he looks and like the way he performs. I'm like. But he's like all about being happy, and I love it.
Is that the singer of Idols?
No, Andrew WK. It's let's get the party started. Now it's time to party. We will party hard.
I don't know that song. Never heard.
What?
It. It's like
party hard, party hard, party hard, party hard.
I'm trying to think. Like, what's like a pretty chill screamo song? I can get into screamo.
Like Deja Intendu. You get a little brand new.
Yeah, there's a little bit of screaming in there.
It doesn't get to that point, but it's all like
Daisy. Their album is like pretty much a screamo album. by Brand New.
You gotta know Andrew WK though.
Yeah, even The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me has some good screaming parts.
You know who I listened to this week?
The
Yeah Yeahs, and I was like,
their latest album.
Guy.
Oh, okay, I've seen him.
You know that album? Yeah. No, it was good.
Wait, what did you listen to of the Yeah Yeahs?
I can't remember what song it was, but I think it was their newest album, and I was like, oh man, it was really good. Not
was
that
it on the radio?
It was like on just a YouTube playlist. It came up.
I dig their last album.
Idols.
It's even grown on me a little more too. But I still prefer their second and third albums the most out of all of them. I think this is their fifth like legit album, and second and third at number one. But this is still good. Like sometimes I listen, like for example, I've listened to plenty of Smashing Pumpkins albums where I'm like, still doesn't even touch Siamese Dream or Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Doesn't even like get close to it. And that's sad, but it's okay. But they have some good stuff on those newest albums and stuff. But like Brand New was a great example of like it made me. There was a while where I was like, I listened to newer music on a new album, and I'm like, this isn't what I hoped it would be. But Science Fiction by Brand New was a moment that I realized that I am not stuck in that way. I'm not stuck in like old is better, because Science Fiction was insanely good. Right off the bat, like first.
You know who else is really good? Every album, Coheed and Cambria. I love them. They're great.
Okay, I can get behind them too, and they're like high pitched screamo almost. Not really.
Yeah.
They're more emo.
Carlos Sanchez
like
or something. I remember the first time I saw a music video with him. I'm like, that guy sings that way.
Yeah.
He's got like
that frizzy hair. Yeah. And he's
Goodbye, sniper. Let's shoot.
Yeah, who's a band that I think the singer doesn't look like what he sounds like at all, and I gotta double check this. But Adam, oh no, oh there we go, Adam Gontier, from who used to be the lead singer of 3 Days Grace, with that like really like his voice is like definitely different the most. You know what I'm talking about? I hate everything about you. Yeah. But anyway, he just looks smaller than I assumed he was. But now I look at it and I'm like, okay, he kind of looked like what I expect. But that's because I got used to seeing him the way he is. You know how it goes.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Anyway. How are you doing? I haven't asked you that yet.
We're about a break, so I guess I'll cram it in. I'm good. Man, I'm kind of the opposite end of where you're at. Like I had a meeting this week that was like had potential to go very stressful, and I was kind of stressing about it. It went fine. It went really well. So that's in the rear view mirror. And I'm excited, dude. Thanksgiving. This comes out on Monday. By the time this comes out, I'll be in Vegas, ready to fly home, and then spend the rest of the week with my family. I'm so excited. Like it's gonna be.
Do they get the whole week off?
Yeah, we get the whole week, which is nice. So it'll be good. And Chelsea actually got the whole week off too. So I'm super excited. Like it'll be nice just to be together as a family for a week. And
that's cool.
When it's be chilly outside, we'll get cozy dozy. It's gonna be wonderful. Although I am gonna
chilly outside.
Eat some chili outside when it's chilly with Bush's baked bean chili beans. The best beans for your bang for your buck.
Yep. And for your butt.
And then we're gonna do a couple of house projects too. So Chelsea wants to put up wallpaper in the laundry room, and I gotta paint the laundry room.
Wallpaper? Isn't that like
no? It's
old?
It's no Cole. Apparently it's coming back. Yeah, she wants to do one wall with wallpaper, and I hate wallpaper. And I gotta stain some shelves in there and stuff, like, and then paint the bath. Like we're gonna do a lot of painting projects and things like that.
Your kids are old enough to turn them into child workers.
Yeah. No, man. Finley last night.
Messy.
Finley, like, she disappears in her bedroom. I go, and then she's don't come in. I'm like, okay, whatever. But this is what she does is pretty frequently, where she likes to clean our room for us. She won't clean her own room, but she'll clean our room. But then like stuffs things everywhere. So like this morning I woke up, couldn't find my work badge. I'm like, oh, where'd it go? Got to work late and stuff. So it's pretty cute though. She does.
That's like Heather, I'm a messy person compared to Heather, but Heather knows these days to not put my stuff away
because then you don't know where it's at.
Then I
you
don't know where it is.
your
I
mess.
knew where it was when I put it somewhere. I remember where I put it, and it was maybe somewhere messy, but I knew where it was. But now I don't know where it is.
You know what
so
always gets me? I'll put something. I'll be like, "This is going to be a good place to put this," and then I forget about it.
Oh, rough.
And I don't know. Like especially, or like if like the kids lose like their iPad or something like that, and it's like, this will be a great place. I know they won't find it there.
Yeah,
and I don't find it either. It's awful. I'm awful about it. So
yeah.
Anyway, how am I doing? I'm great because I have a new band that I love to listen to. So please listen to Idols, Danny Nedelko, and let me know what you think. It's beautiful. Yeah. Other than that, I'm good, man. You good?
I'm good.
It's about that time.
And let's go for a walk, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back.
We are
on Chill Filtered, not non-chill filtered. That's a double negative.
The name of the podcast. We are chill filtered.
Exactly.
Because we're two chill dudes.
We're two chill dudes talking about whiskey.
Two chill dudes who often talk about their anxiety and need for counseling. That's how chill we are.
Shout out to Brian Rapp for sending us the sample that we're drinking today, the Barrell Armida. Second thing I wanted to get to. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You may have another.
Second thing I wanted to get to, we talked about Christmas coming up, and did we mention it last week or something? I don't know.
It was like 2 weeks ago. You pandered to gifts.
Yep. And so I mentioned last week, I believe, that I am adding an Elmer T. Lee to the mix of to a random gifter. And then I just decided, just for the heck of it, I'm a man who loves giving gifts as well. So I'm going to up that. Not only Elmer T. Lee, but also not the same person, two separate people. One person's going to get a bottle of Elmer T. Lee that gifts us, or has gifted us, and then one is going to give us. What's that?
This is the catch-up year. We got to get behind
it.
So and then you gave us a gift previously. You're in the
yeah. You're logged in. But if you give this year and last year, that's 2 entries.
What?
2 entries.
Which will be drawn out of Cole's bunghole.
Out of my bunghole hole. So yeah, I'm gonna add a Weller 12 to that, just because I love giving gifts. So Elmer T. Lee, Weller 12, 2 bottles that gifters may receive this year, just because I feel great.
That is nice.
And get this, Robby, I showed you earlier, but we have a new Patreon supporter.
Yeah,
and his name is Richard Thwaites. As far as I know, we haven't talked to him.
We haven't
on
reached
Instagram
out yet.
I don't think so. So please reach out, Richard, if you're on Instagram. But just say hi, at least. We'd love to talk, and just say we appreciate you. If you're not on Instagram, hit us up at chillfilteredpodcast@gmail.com. I do know Richard is Canadian, though. That's about all I know. So shout out to the double ding Canadian baller that he is. Thanks, Richard, for supporting us on Patreon. And being Canadian, it's nice to have we have like at least 3 or 4 like strong Canadian listeners.
So strong. That's from lumberjacking.
So strong. I mean, have you seen Jason Preston's muscles? Have you seen Broascutus muscles? Anyway, this, and have you seen Richard Thwaites? I haven't yet.
I can't.
But I'm sure he and his significant other are beautiful.
You know, it reminds me of Bobcat Goldthwait.
I've never met a Thwaite.
I've never met a Thwaite, but Bobcat is as close as I've come.
That's cool. So yeah, what we're drinking today, Barrell Armida, batch 5. That's a 112.82 proof.
Lip service.
What's that?
I'm just talking. You said that's cool, and I was like, I don't think that's cool. You just lip service.
It's super cool, Robby. This is our 3rd Barrell Craft Spirits whiskey on the podcast, episode 201. We drank the 16-year silver label Seagrass, and that was 130.82 proof. And then episode 214, we drank the 2022 New Year bourbon that they put out. So we've covered some background on Barrell Craft whiskey or Barrell Craft Spirits whiskey already, but wanted to cover another angle today. As some of us may know, Barrell Craft Spirits is a non-distilling producer. Let's talk non-distilling producers, NDPs. So in general, I read another article by Chuck Cowdery, and this guy can write. He can write good stuff.
That's good.
He wrote an article called "Who Gets the Best Whiskey," and that was written in May of this year. I thought it was a great article, and even mentioned it even mentioned in the article and praised Barrell Craft Spirits. So I wanted to give credit to Chuck Cowdery in some of the thoughts I had today based on reading that article. And like I said, as some might remember, Barrell Craft Spirits is a non-distilling producer. They're very open about that. Started by Joe Beatrice in 2013, and since then he's hired Trip Stimson from Kentucky Artisan Distillers. He was kind of their like main distiller guy. And the NDP that Kentucky Artisan Distillers was the NDP that did Jefferson's Reserve. So anyway, they source all their juice and offer blends and single barrels and finished blends. And by finished blends, I mean bourbons or ryes that were finished in special barrels and then blended. In fact, that's what we're drinking today, but I'll get to that. Anyway, the article talks about the sourcing market and how it works. Basically, let's say you're like Angel's Envy or some even like smaller or newer name like Whistle Pig. And I know you might correct me, at least Whistle Pig produces some of their own stuff, but not a lot at this point. Here's the thing. In a way, there's plenty of bourbon and rye to go around. You know, places like Dickel, Brown-Forman, Barton, Heaven Hill, and don't even get me started on Midwest grain product and ingredients, also known as MGP. What's that?
No, I'm not going to start you up.
Don't start me, man.
I'm not going to start you up, Buttercup.
They're all well-established distilleries that have more than enough barrels to produce their stuff. So what do you do with those barrels that either don't match your profiles or brands or are just plain surplus barrels? You could sell them. You can sell them to NDPs. But here's what's interesting. Who gets the best barrels? Well, if two barrels are different, theoretically, anyone can make an argument that one is better than the other. If you line up 10 barrels, someone could put them in order of greatest to least. Not that everyone would agree unanimously on greatest to least, but theoretically,
you could do it. You could, in theory.
Someone could do it. Most distilling.
I bet it's been done. I bet it has been done.
It's been done.
I'd bet my bottom dollar it's already done.
Oh, it's done been bottom dollared. But yeah, most distilling producers would keep the top barrels, like the best barrels, even if just for the sole reason that they can. But basically, non-distilling producers can select the best they can after that point, or at least try to if they're interested. Bullet doesn't sound like the kind of non-distilling producer that like goes for the best of the best to me. They're going for consistency for the most part. But anyway, Chuck Cowdery argues that it's always a risk when you buy a new product from a non-distilling producer. If they're sourcing, it's potentially not for the best price. And I've definitely seen that to be true with some sourced $200+ bottles that I've seen. Not to name any names. I won't. What Chuck Cowdery does say, though, is that the best NDPs typically are the ones that are transparent. Sometimes the ones that aren't are hiding something that they don't want you to see. I mean, from what I've heard, some actually have like non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, not NDPs, NDAs, but I don't think that's usually on the side of the producer. I think it's more on the side of like, hey, Bullet, like, hey, no one tell anyone that we're sourcing this. The best NDPs have good websites, and I like almost clapped when I read that on Chuck's blog because it's true. The ones that actually like put it, I mean, like if you look at Barrell's website, Barrell Craft Spirits website, you'll see like everything that went into every bottle for the most part. And so, yeah, they have good websites, and they're proud of the barrels that they source. In the end, like I said, Chuck references Barrell Craft Spirits and says they're doing it right. And that's the history for today.
Okay.
That's a little bit about non-distilling producers. So what we're drinking today, Barrell Armida Batch 5, 112.82 proof. It is a blend of 3 different finished bourbons. They were not finished together or in sequence. They were each finished separately and then blended. Firstly, they had pear brandy barrels. So almost like apple brandy, but pear.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And secondly, Jamaican rum barrels. And lastly, Sicilian Amaro casks.
Ooh.
I had to look into Amaro. I basically knew what Amaro was, but I had to look into it a little more. It's basically a bitter liqueur. Traditionally, Amaro is made by mixing grape brandy with a mix of herbs, flowers, and aromatic bark, citrus peel, and other spices. It's sweetened and then aged, which I didn't know it was always aged. Campari is an example of an Amaro. Easy to find. I actually typically don't like Campari, the Amaro, unless it's in an Enzoni. That's right, Enzoni, Enzoni. Look it up; it's amazing.
Well, I don't care for Negronis.
No, I don't either. And that incorporates usually Campari.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but this is so good. So it's like rye. No, I'm sorry. It's gin. It's gin, a little bit of simple syrup, a little bit of lemon, I think, and then white grapes crushed up, and a little bit of Campari, and it's like perfect.
Sounds
perfect.
Good.
Look it up.
Because Campari is so stinking bitter.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it works perfectly with the grapes. I don't know what it is, and the gin is perfect. So anyway, so I'm intrigued to see how the Amaro will affect the flavor. I know not all of them are as bitter as Campari, but maybe it'll really bring in bitter notes that I might not like, but I might like them. Anyway, maybe that's where the pear brandy kicks in. So anyway, apparently named after Joe Beatrice's mother, and her maiden name was Armida, because it reminded him of growing up on and going to his mom's family's farm in the Northeast, which had some orchard fruits. So it might be orchard fruit forward, which I'm into. Like I said, 112.82 proof, batch number 5, no age statement, total wine price, typically about $90 retail. And that's what I got. How are we doing on time? We're doing good.
We're good.
Let's start drinking.
We're good.
And
Let's
we'll cut it when Robby needs to pick up his kids at the, what do you call it? You'll be like, hey, kids.
Hey.
Like, you smell like daddy.
I am your daddy.
You're like, no, you're not. And then you're like, oh, there's my kids over there.
So, it's a lighter color for sure.
Is it?
It's on the lighter side. It's on the lighter side.
I mean, considering
it's the darker. Never mind. It's on the darker side of light. Never mind.
Yeah, it's deep. It's on the lighter side of dark. Ooh, good nose. I do have a little bit of a sniffles, but I can smell a little bit through one nostril.
Hopefully, it's the best sniffing nostril.
Oh, the left is always the best.
I'm righty all nighty, baby.
I like it. I'm not getting bitter at all on the nose.
No, it's nothing. Gosh, what did we have last week? Last week we had what did we have last week?
Russell's 13.
Yeah, and Russell's 13, like that was a pungent, like hit you in the nose. Like it was very forward with its nose. This is pretty light. I get a little bit of definitely like fruitiness, maybe like an an apple-y, a light apple, and then I get like a earthy, chocolatey, maybe kind of a note towards the end. I don't know, but nose is not super pronounced.
I had a sip, and I'm not ready to give notes yet. I got to sip again. It is a lot going on, like a lot going on. There is a bitterness that I got, and it might have been the Amaro, but it's weird. Like this is weird.
This is unique for sure. I don't think I've ever tasted a whiskey like this. Like this is, oh man, It is not robust. It is very mild, but within that, like there is, gosh, to me it almost is like a wine. It has like you could tell me like we're drinking a wine, like like an iced wine, and I would think, oh yeah, this is like a wine. It's like it's really, I don't know. You say something because I got to go back in.
Yeah. I'm confused by this. And maybe I'm willing to admit, don't give my score or notes full credibility, because I guess it is, but potentially the sniffles I got is potentially affecting my taste, and just muting it a little bit. But there is, a lot going on. I can get behind like the orchard fruit, but it also like, it's like left and right. You're getting these notes, but like, and it's switching like quick. It's not like, oh, smoothed into sugary and then out into peaches and whatever. It is very quick. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's bitter. It's fruity. It's bourbony. It's, I don't know. It's very interesting.
It's no, this is unique. I've never had anything like this. I like it because it is unique. I am getting like white grape, like a really light white grape.
I can get behind that.
And then like I think there is a bitterness there, but it is more of like an aperitif kind of a bitterness.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily unpleasant. And then at the very end of the palate, I get a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of heat to it, but overall, it's fairly mild.
Yeah.
No.
I think Matt Porter did this one, and I think I remember it. He said this was like a double-decker bicycle or something like that, if I remember right, or double-decker bus or something like that, where it's like got like layers to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It has layers for sure. Like it transitions on you and does things.
Yeah. I'm giving the old Spin J with some water. I wish I could give better notes. But yeah, a little bit of orchard fruit, but it's weird. Like that's the biggest note I can say, is like it is weird. It's different, but it's not bad. I don't know if I love it, but it's weird.
I love the fact that it's unique. I love that. Is it something would it be like if it were in that price? If I was a zillionaire, would this be a daily drinker for me? Still probably not. But I love that it's unique.
Yeah. Yeah, for
nose,
sure.
Nose got sweeter with water.
Yeah, yeah. It lightened it out a little bit in the nose. Not excuse me. Not bad.
Ooh. No, water's killing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, this is weird. It is a weird whiskey for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Amaro's showing up a little bit. I thought that was a very interesting thing to do, is finish in an Amaro cask. A Sicilian Amaro cask.
Back in Sicily.
It's like this first of which is never get into a land war with a Sicilian or something like, you know what I'm talking about?
A land war in Indochina.
Yeah.
This is like,
oh no, that's what he says, Indochina, and then he's like, but second, and not as important as, never get involved with a Sicilian when death is involved. Something along those lines.
This is like a chameleon in a fabric store. It just changes on you left and right. That's the best analogy I've ever had. No, I get this. It's much sweeter with water, and then I can't remember what the middle note was, but then it is interesting because it does finish with that like aperitif bitter note towards the end.
Yeah, never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
I like this.
You know,
I do, just because I'm like, hubba, what? This is crazy. It's out there, man.
Whole new world.
Ooh, second sip though, it definitely got bitter, much more bitter on me on the finish, but oh man,
giving it the old Spin J with some ice.
I got some tiny cubes. Burn the hole. You okay there, Cole?
I'm thinking my nose is not rolling today.
Yeah,
It's almost like I can smell, but I've smelled it already. So it's like nothing's showing up.
You've smelled all there was to be smelled.
I've smelled everything.
You can't smell no more.
Story now. My smell story.
Oh, speaking of ballers, I want to give a quick shout out Ben Klepsig.
What a dude!
In general, just what a dude.
Did you pull it off?
Yeah, I think so. Ben. Look, I was looking for a bottle, and as you all know, I do the worst research on how to find things, do things, know things. I rely heavily on Cole and listeners for that, and Ben came through with finding a bottle, and I'm pretty sure.
Through.
Yeah, no, like he did the legwork, and I'm gonna pass it off like I did, and my friend's gonna be like,
you get to be
"You're
the hero.
so great, Rob. That's awesome," and I'll be like, "Thanks
for you, girl." Yeah.
Nose is kind of dead with the ice. It's not your nostrils.
So on the palate with the ice, it kind of dies off pretty quick, and the bitterness shows up to me.
Oh, that was a nice snort there, Cole.
You gotta like squint one eye as you do it. Like,
oh man, made me inhale
I don't like this
vapor
with ice.
Yeah, it's got kind of that weirdness, but then that bitter really is there towards the end. So
yeah,
not great. All right, man, this is weird. I don't know how I'm gonna rate this because I love that it's unique. Like I've never had anything like this, and I can appreciate that. Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun except for Barrell Armida, right?
Yeah,
it is something new.
Oh, a for show.
Oh man. Okay, so if are we ready to rank? Are you ready? Can we move? Because
I am. Yeah.
Okay, so if I rank this on, wow, this is unique and interesting, I would probably give it like a 9.5 because it is very unique. If you just gave it to me based solely on the flavor profile and the taste and the mouthfeel, I think I just give it a solid 6. No, that's not so solid. 6.8, I think.
Wow, it's low.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it is interesting, but if I take away like, wow, this is different, it's not really what I would go for in a whiskey.
Yeah.
So
I give it an 8.
Okay.
It's good, special.
It is special.
8 is generous, but I'm actually going to keep the score.
Okay.
I don't love it. I wouldn't buy it. I can respect it too.
8 is about the average between my two scores.
Nice.
My two potential scores. Yeah. So I got you. You're good. I got you.
Yeah, just an 8. It's good, special. I appreciate their trying.
You appreciate 8.
Maybe wouldn't buy it, especially for $90. So that's what I'm gonna give it. So with that,
well, hold on. I think it's worth buying if you want to try something different.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes, so. I mean, it's that's the thing is like you can't get around. It is unique.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's worth trying, especially at a bar. If you see it at a bar, try it. Just try it. Just put it in your mouth. Anyway, so with that, why don't we send it over to our next segment of the show we like to call Whiskey World News.
We're back. Part of the show where we read an article or we say, what's up with this post? And we talk about it. We didn't write it. Just going to read it. Then we're going to talk about it. This one comes from bevnet.com, written by Press Release. And it's titled, Nicole, you're going to love this article. I bet you have.
I think I will.
I don't think you've even read this article yet. Usually you're up on the Whiskey World News, but I can guarantee you may not be this time. The title of this one is Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey launches limited edition Screwball Eggnog just in time.
Just in time.
Screwball Whiskey, the original peanut butter whiskey, announced the introduction of festive, boozy peanut butter flavored Screwball Eggnog just in time for holiday celebrations of all kinds. Launched hot on the heels of its portable 100 milliliter can debut. I didn't know they had a can. They got a can. Screwball's whiskey new Screwball Whiskey's new limited edition Screwball Eggnog is a creamy, craveable combination of the smooth and nutty peanut butter whiskey and eggnog made with 100% real premium dairy cream. Crafted for the ultimate holiday cocktail party, a cozy fireside night in, or a stealthy sip while setting out stockings.
Nice.
Eggnog is a top holiday cocktail in more than half of the United States, and for many, their holiday spread isn't even complete without the spirit, said Screwball Whiskey co-founders. We know the holidays are often a busy time period, and we want to simplify getting eggnog and getting you wicked drunk. No, I didn't say
wicked
that.
Drunk.
Or like you'd have to drink a lot of Screwball to get wicked drunk, I think.
I don't know. It's only like 80% of the minimum of whiskey. So if you take that, you times it by 5/4, so like 20% more.
Yeah.
5/4. No, 25% more.
And then continue to say, launched in limited quantity, Screwball Eggnog is 29.5 proof, 14.75. So it's going to take a little bit. It's like glasses of wine.
Yeah.
Spirit will be available in
like
select
peanut
retailers in
buttery
Arkansas,
wine.
Alaska, Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, South Carolina, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin for a limited time only. So
but not Virginia or Idaho.
No. So anybody out there with access, hook some brothers up.
Yeah, exactly.
We love it.
This is basically like Hypernova. Keep an eye out, listeners.
Cole, any thoughts?
I'd try it. You know, I'm getting old these days, and I like something sweet. I've always liked something sweet. I'm a sweet kind of guy. But what kind of glass is that?
This is, speaking of holiday stuff, it's a Crown Royal rocks glass.
Ooh, so rocks. Anyway,
yeah.
But I can dig some sweet. And it sounds like peanut buttery sweet goodness is, and you don't even have to mix it. You just pour it. If you're one of our listeners and like, screw it, I'm gonna send this to. Actually, don't do that for a Christmas gift. I'll tell you that.
Well,
unless you already have.
Cole's pandering.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I would try it.
Yeah.
Is it whiskey? No. Is it eggnog? Probably. So that's what I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I just thought it'd be fun to read another Screwball.
Literally worth a shot.
Hey.
Hey-o.
But I do like Screwball. I don't mind Screwball. I do. Honestly, though, I want to get another bottle of the. I'd rather have, I think, the Buffalo Trace Bourbon Cream, because I got one bottle of that and it's gone and people loved it. It was delicious.
Yeah.
So that's
what would
that.
It take to get that? Is that as allocated as the rest? I bet it is.
I don't.
Have you seen it?
Showed up on our allocated shelf, but other stuff will show up too. That's like or rare. Or I guess it's not allocated. It's rare whiskey.
Yeah,
rare for Idaho.
It's good.
Ezra Brooks makes a bourbon cream too, I think, and I think that's available. Ezra Brooks.
I'm not surprised. What's it called? Bowman Brothers does a caramel or a salted caramel bourbon cream.
I would try it. I haven't
seen it on shelves.
I don't mind that stuff. I will go for a little something.
The old something.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go over last week's results from What Whiskey Would You Choose?
You betcha. So last week we were talking about, you're going to have family members come into town. They may not be like just whiskey drinkers, but they maybe like a cocktail. So the question is, what whiskey? Nope, that was what should we drink next episode? That was the wrong thing I archived. What whiskey-based cocktail would be you be making for the in-laws on Thanksgiving? Cole went with a Buffalo Trace store pick old fashioned. I went with a Trader Joe's Harvest Blend tea.
Nice.
Infused.
I think you won.
No.
Oh, yeah?
Whiskey sour, and you won 55-45. So look at you.
Nice.
Pin a rose on Cole's nose.
Pin a rose on this guy's nose.
Got a few write-ins here, and let's see. Brian Rapp, whiskey sour, and sub half the lemon juice for cranberry, and throw a couple cinnamon sticks in. That sounds tempting. That sounds interesting. I can get behind that. Marco Nezzi, Old Overall Bottom Bond American Trilogy. So he's just giving them straight whiskey. Is that American?
No. He said, I think he made me an American Trilogy, and I think it involved whiskey, like bourbon, and Applejack and something else. It was good. He made it for me
okay.
once.
So that is a cocktail. American Trilogies is a cocktail.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
All right. Bryce Marita said hot toddy because that's literally the only cocktail he's ever made. And you know,
what?
If that's in your
Bryce, we got to change you.
Well, wasn't he on? He did a cocktails with Cole episode, didn't he?
No, that was what's his name? John Montero.
It was John Montero. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brotask Askinosa, our insanely ripped and stupidly buff Canadian friend.
Stupidly buff.
High proof rye, old fashioned with cinnamon and orange infused simple syrup. Can't go wrong. Miles Ferguson, rye old fashioned using Wild Turkey 101 rye.
Nice.
And Nathan Anthony summed it all up like most of us listeners would. It's your in-laws, so you'll think this, but you may not say it. He says, whiskey neat. If they don't like it, the kids' drinks are in the fridge. So
nice.
There you go.
I like that, Nathan Anthony.
All right. So we're talking about Thanksgiving. We talked about Thanksgiving cocktails for the non-whiskey lover, the someone who needs a little bit of peanut butter infused eggnog for their cocktail. Let's talk about us, because we are what matter. You matter. What are you drinking this Thanksgiving? That's not Wild Turkey. Cole said, you can't drink Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to drink Wild Turkey,
Thanksgiving pour.
Yeah.
I know what I'm drinking.
All right.
Although it's hard because I don't know if I'd drink that because I'd have to probably share it. That's the thing about like drinking something on Thanksgiving is you'd likely have to like share it. But I was thinking Wild Turkey, Russell's Reserve 13. But then I don't want to share it. I want to share it with only those who are worthy. So I got to do something that's mixable, because if you bring it out and some people are like, can I have some? And then they'll be like, well, can I mix it with Coke? So I'm going to go with Eagle Rare. Classy bottle.
You've got a whole case of it.
Yeah. No, but I have more than a whole case of it. I have
what?
12 bottles of it. No, I have at least 8 or 9 bottles. So I'll just use one of those. I even have a handle of Eagle Rare, and it's enormous.
I just before the pandemic, I saw a handle of it, and I thought I should buy that. And then I was like, maybe next time. And then like everyone bought everything out, and then it was no longer there, and you can't barely find Eagle Rare anymore.
Yep.
So what am I going to drink? What am I going to drink if I'm not drinking Wild Turkey? Cheese Louise and cottage cheese. You know what? I'm drinking some High West double rye.
Nice.
Idaho State Liquor Division store pick.
Barrel pick. Nice.
Barrel pick, yeah. So that's what I'll probably crack that up. And that sounds like a good one. So
is someone at the door?
There's children running around rampant right now because
children
rampantly running.
Well, in that case, we'll get to our next segment of the show.
What are we drinking next week?
What are we drinking next week? And that is, I'm going to switch it up. I originally said Glen Grant 18 versus Tomatin Kuboken. I'm actually going to switch it. Okay. It's going to be Glen Grant 15 versus, because I want to save like Glen Grant 18 for a little longer.
Okay.
But the 15 is actually very good too, but I won't give too much away.
Know. We'll see.
Yeah. Who knows? So Glen Grant 15 versus Tomatin Kuboken. And I'll give some details on Instagram. They're pretty cool what each one is. The Tomatin, I believe, is the peated version of Tomatin. So, yeah. And so we'll keep that in mind. Keep an eye out this week. Vote accordingly. Shout out to the ballers of the week. One being Brian Rapp and one being Bryce freaking Marita. So, I don't know. He's a baller. And so is Ben Klepsig. And everyone's a baller. Don't let me forget anyone.
Anthony.
And Richard Thwaite.
Richard Thwaite.
What a baller. Did we even give him the baller ding? No, we didn't.
I gave him the ding. He did
I gave him a double ding. Double Canadian ding.
You know what, Cole? Mm-hmm. I hope next time you bring up Patreon supporters and valued listeners, you just have a list in front of you, because I know we missed a lot.
Yes. And I hope that next time we drink, that you are good.
And I hope that y'all are going to have the best Thanksgiving ever, because we sure are thankful for you. But most of all, listeners, I hope our love of whiskey lifted your spirits. Hey!
Hey-o!
Hey-o!